Okay, so I think it was a 600 million Ofwat Innovation Fund. You've published your latest learning report, and the title is From Source to Sea, Harnessing Nature and Communities for Whole Catchment Innovation. I guess it'd just be good to understand a little bit about the background to the publication, sort of why now, what the objective is, etc.
Yes, of course. One of the fundamental principles of the Innovation Fund is that knowledge generated from the fund is shared so that all water companies and all of their customers can benefit. This is the fourth in a series of learning reports that identifies the challenges and the opportunities of a specific theme. In this case, it's nature-based solutions, but we've done three others. Circularity in water, supporting water efficient communities, and rethinking wastewater systems. So this one is all about helping water companies to understand what's coming out of the Innovation Fund. They must transform their environmental impact. They need to do it differently. Innovation is crucial to helping end the use of storm overflows, to cut greenhouse gases, drive down leaks, and to do all of this stuff. So the report tries to bring together some of our lessons around nature-based solutions, so that we can use more of those in the future to solve challenges such as climate change and pollution, and to restore and sustain our natural environments. There's some really great projects in there, and the report is sharing the insights that are coming out of these in a really accessible format. It comes in a simple there's a publication.
Yep.
It's really easy to read. It's on our website. If you turn up to an event, you can get a hard copy. And it just covers the learning that's come out of those reports since we started. There's also some short case studies from the global community at the back, towards the back of the project. And there's some examples that have come out of the projects about what makes good collaboration. So from having collaboration agreements to making sure that all partners have access to data. We've called it Source to Sea because it covers projects that cover the whole of the water catchment, and it really shows the interconnectivity of water systems from upstream catchment management all the way through water use, flood mitigation, etc. So it's a really great report, and I'm really pleased to be here to talk to you about it.
No, that's great. Thanks for that. And in terms of the actual sort of practicalities, I think there were eight of the nature-based projects which were backed by the fund. I guess it'd be good to understand the sort of level of funding, and I'm going to give you some idea, if you can give us some idea of the project partners participants. I think we're going to drill down, into some of them a bit later, but just the sort of broad spectrum of people that have been involved, if you like.
Okay. There are a number. There is 8 projects in there. Sorry, complete mind went blank. There are 8 projects in there. There's 18 million pounds of funding in total went to those 8 projects. They're led by 6 different water companies. But I mentioned before about the collaboration. It's really important, and there are 70 odd, 77, 78 partners involved, from everybody from Rivers Trust, the Zoological Society of London, through to engineering companies, consultancies, universities, local government, and of course other water companies. So that's kind of the big picture, and it tells you more about what they've been doing.
I suppose another interesting thing is in terms of the projects that are selected. I mean, do you have a lot of applications and then sort of sift through those to come up with them, or are the numbers that the eight here pretty much what was interested? Just I suppose it'd be good for people to understand how you arrive at the projects which you had chosen.
I think we wanted to do a thematic report about the kind of source to see about nature-based solutions. So we looked at the projects that were underway that would actually fit within the report, that would help tell the narrative that if we bring those different projects together, we could get some really good lessons that would benefit the different the readers, etc. We've since funded more projects in this area, which, if we do an update at some point, might feature in an updated report. But at the moment, these were kind of like the ones that best represented the theme that we'd chosen. But we have 109 projects now, so
Yep.
there's a lot of different ones we could have chosen. But these are the ones around nature-based solutions that really best told the story about what the work of the fund's doing.
Okay, I mean, in terms of specific projects, I mean, I don't want to sort of put you on the spot too much, but I don't know if you can share a few details about some of them. And I know there's one which was led by United Utilities, and I think they worked with, yeah, as you say, there's collaboration, so Rivers Trust and WWT. They were about mainstreaming nature-based solutions. So can you give us a little bit of a insight into what that project is about?
That's a really exciting project. It's kind of trying to do what it says on the tin,
Yeah,
maintaining
yeah.
nature-based solutions. Um, it's led by United Utilities. They've got about 20 partners, including the Rivers Trust, the Wetlands Trust, and other water companies. They got £8 million from our Water Breakthrough Challenge 3. So that would have been in 2023. The project concludes in 2028. And it's a really important project in trying to understand how and gain evidence for how nature-based solutions can be integrated into standard water management practices. It's trying to break down the barriers to adoption. There's a bit of a negative spiral going on that we'd like to do it, but we need evidence. So where do you get the evidence? You get the evidence by doing it, but we can't do it because we need the evidence. So this is trying to get the evidence to quantify it, to say exactly what a nature-based solution project can deliver, different types in different environments, and how they function. And then that can be codified to inform future decisions on whether a blue-green solution, watery tree solution, is better over a grey engineering solution. And it's looking at flooding, drought, and water quality at landscape scale. So it is a live project. It's already generated some really great insights. It informed the price review 2024 price review, which resulted in an increase in sector-wide funding for nature-based solutions, because they did a rapid review to feed into the draft determinations, and they've fed evidence into the Independent Water Commission. And phase 2 of the project will actually start this autumn, and they'll test the recommendations from the first project in time to help inform decisions on the future WINEP and future price review and policy. So it's a really important project, both in what it's doing out there whilst doing the project, but in how it's going to inform future policy and regulation. So it's really exciting. I can't wait to see
Yeah.
how that progresses.
No, that sounds brilliant. And one other caught my eye was the Catchment Systems Thinking Cooperative. I think they received six or so million. And in terms of that, again, I think United Utilities are the lead folks, but plenty of partners. And can you just give us a bit of a insight into what that project's focusing on?
Yes, of course. It's Casco for short. They got £6.3 million to try and transform the way the environment's monitored, in particular rivers. There's a real dearth of information about river health, and there are a lot of them. And it's trying to create a national standardized framework data collection approach for river health. So they want to improve the amount of data collected, as well as how it's collected. And that would then enable decisions to be made on water management going forward. So they're combining expert insights with citizen science. So they're developing training packs for citizens and with support, so they can go out and actually test water quality, test what's alive there in the water. People may have heard of the Big River Watch. Over 6,000 people across the UK joined the Big River Watch, which was part of this project. And they're teaching people how to gather data and then putting it in a standardized way and putting it into a database so you can use that for future. There's also an element about upskilling farmers on understanding soil health and how that contributes to the health of rivers, etc. And they're going to put all of the data they gather on a publicly accessible database, which helps to further stimulate innovation, to help understand about the environment. And it's really important for influencing policy as well about how we monitor our river health. So you do it, the more data you've got, the more understanding you've got, the more you can actually take appropriate solutions. So fantastic project combining citizen science, partnership working with sort of data standards and data collection, which should really help drive forward some better understanding of river health, so we can do something about it and make a change.
Excellent. And then there's one other area. I know I've already talked to the folks at HR Wallingford to do with the SUDS IQ one, but I know there are a couple of SUDS projects, and as I said to them, I mean, it amazes me. I've been in the industry longer than I care to remember, and even then, back then, SUDS was, everyone knew about it, but perhaps wasn't doing what they should be doing with it, and it seems that's still sadly the case today. But yeah, just give us a flavour of what the sort of SUDS projects are hoping to achieve to I guess raise the profile of SUDS, but in what ways are they doing that?
There are a couple of different SUDS projects. I think there's two specifically in the report. The SUDS IQ project you mentioned is about trying to set up a collaboration and evaluation platform so that um, people can better understand how to do SUDS. I think one of the barriers to SUDS is that they sound great, but there's so many different bits to them, isn't there? There's the street works, there's the hydrology, there's the planting, all sorts of things. So there's a lot of misinformation and misunderstanding about how you actually do it. So this is designed trying to get information and standards up onto a platform. It's led by Southern Water. As you say, they're working with HR Wallingford, with CIWEM, and a wider range of others. And they intend to create an online collaboration platform, which, as I said, will help design stakeholders to plan, to design and evaluate SUDS. SUDS are so important, as well as helping to mitigate climate change and slow the flow of waters into sewers. They're really great for those of us living in cities and towns, so that we have better and nicer green spaces. That leads on to the second project that is in the report, which is being run by Thames Water with the GLA, the Greater London Authority and Transport for London, and others, some of the utility providers. But I think they're also working with people like the Greater Manchester Combined Authority and the Liverpool City region area. And they're looking at how you can actually integrate SUDS into streetworks. So one of the big costs associated with SUDS is actually digging a hole in the ground and doing the excavation. So streetworks, people, utilities digging a hole in the ground to actually do some work there is a fantastic opportunity that could be utilised, could create a market whereby most of the work, most of the expensive work, the digging and excavating a hole, is done by the utility. And then instead of putting back more concrete, more tarmac, etc., SUDS go in. And they're trying to develop a market. So by the people who want to put SUDS in pay for the utilities to actually put them in as part of the process. And it should reduce the cost. But also, it's a fantastic opportunity. Can you think about how many streetworks there are each year? If we can get SUDS into just a fraction of those, that makes such a big difference for our cities and towns. So two of our fantastic projects. I think we've got some more in the latest round as well, but they're not in this report at the moment. So yeah, really exciting.
Yeah, and obviously, as you sort of explained, the objective of the projects, and I guess the fund, the Ofwat Innovation Fund, is to help sort of foster innovation, which it sounds like that's definitely happening for, to address various water industry challenges. And I guess the other thing is, as you explained, the importance of knowledge sharing. So, is that done in a sort of formal way? Do you have workshops and ways of disseminating the information, or is it more sort of word of mouth that the folks doing the project? Obviously interact with other people. Just how formalized, I guess, is that knowledge sharing?
Each of the projects is required to share the knowledge. It is up to the individual projects how they do it, but funding is incorporated within their bid. Quite a lot of them work with Spring, the Centre of Spring Innovation, the Centre of Excellence for the water sector, and they've got a knowledge transfer package which includes online webinars, their platform, and other things. They also hold workshops. A lot of the companies provide websites. They attend conferences, and that we know that there's also some sort of one-to-one exchange of knowledge between companies that are really interested in taking some of this up. So there's a wide range of it. All knowledge sharing is good. We also have our website, which gives a really good list of all the projects and links to anything else that so that people, as a sort of starting point, people can come there and then go off and find knowledge from elsewhere. But yeah, really, really important part of the fund is actually sharing knowledge, disseminating it. And it's one of the focuses we've got for this second price review period, is looking at how we can actually boost that to help support implementation.
Okay, and I also, if memory serves you, I mean, you've obviously been doing this for a little while, but I think fairly recently you've announced your latest round of projects for sponsorship. So is there a theme for that, or are they across all different parts of the industry? What's been sort of focused on for the latest round of projects?
Breakthrough 5 was the last round for the previous price review period. We announced 16 solutions. I think we gave them £42 million. And they are a really wide range of projects. We don't tend to limit anything to a particular area or anything. So it's up to water companies and their partners to apply for funding in areas that they think are important, which is why we've got projects funding across the whole water cycle from source to sea, from rivers through to cleaning water, leakage, helping customers make the most of their water at home and be water efficient, and supporting customers through to treating it and going back out to sea. Our latest batch have got some really exciting projects. I keep saying everything's exciting, don't I? But they genuinely are. We've got things like sampling seawater using drones. So you can increase the number of samples you take of seawater and also make it safer, through to satellites that are going to help predict algal blooms and help companies actually tackle them before they become algal blooms. There's also robots that are going to be trying to reduce the amount of chemicals in sand filtration, in water treatment things, and projects like recovering heat from sewers. So we've got a really wide batch of projects this time round.
Okay, and funny enough, my final question was actually, how excited are you? But you've obviously, as you say, you clearly are. But I guess put it another way, in terms of the what the Ofwat Innovation Fund has achieved to date and what it's hopefully continuing to do in the future, how happy are you, I suppose, at the contribution it is making to the water industry? Clearly, there are a lot of stakeholders that do their own things, but you seem to be galvanizing them to collaborate and come up with many innovations which are going to pay dividends for the industry for years to come. So, how satisfying is it to be that sort of catalyst, if you like?
It's a great place to be at the end of our first AMP and the beginning of the second price review period. As I've said, we funded over 100 projects. They cover the entire water cycle. They're doing some really innovative things, groundbreaking things that's not happening anywhere else in the world. And we're starting at this point to see projects that we funded, because they're only just starting, the early projects coming to an end. We're starting to see them being adopted by other companies, and also people from other countries, other water companies in other countries are starting to show an interest. So we know we've made a difference with the fund. We've brought people together. The water sector have been absolutely fantastic in responding. They're really working collaboratively, and we're starting to see ideas being generated on the back of some of our early projects. So innovation is stimulating innovation, which is exactly where we wanted to be. And we've also I lead our evaluation work, and we've also just seen the latest draft report on our evaluation, and it shows that the people who've been involved in projects in the water companies with the partners, they're transferring skills, they're learning new things and new ways of doing things, and it really is I won't say put a rocket under the sector, but it's transforming the way innovation's done in the sector. So that's absolutely fantastic. And it's a great place to start the next 5-year process. The Ofwat Innovation Fund is going to continue for the next 5 years. So there's so much more that we can do. So watch this space.
No, that's brilliant. I mean, that's a great place to end. And Jeannette, thank you so much for giving time and explaining so well and what's going on and all the great things that are happening. And clearly, good for folks to have a look. And I guess there'll be some, as you say, the project the fund's carrying on, so there'll be other opportunities for people to be involved. But yeah,
Yes, our final round, our next round of the Water Breakthrough Challenge opens on the 8th of September. So looking forward to applications, and we should have our next round of the Water Discovery Challenge, which is the one for innovators, opening in January next year. So that's all good news.
Okay, that's great. Thanks again, Jeannette. Thank you.
Thank you very much.